Alrighty guys, everyone comfortable? Welcome to Kangaroo Island Outdoor Action. My name is Lee, this is Alistair. We might be your guides today. So what we got here guys is our little practice track. Alrighty, might look like a race track, definitely not. It's just to get you comfortable on these bikes, us to be comfortable in your ability, try to work out what tracks we can and cannot take today. So there are a few rules we've got to follow while we're out there. Easiest way to remember them is through the word star. S being for single file. So a nice neat single file, no overtaking or anything like that. T is for a 10-metre gap. So I'm going to be up in the lead buggy with a 10-metre gap to the first rider, 10 to the second, 10 to the third and 10 to the fourth. 10 metres is basically where you are there for that first flag. We'll just keep that gap in between each rider and we should be fine. A is for always looking ahead. So on a heads up, looking forwards at all times today, okay? For no silly reason, we want you turning around to look at your mate or someone behind you, because look what happens with my hands. They follow, there's a good chance you end up in the bush. And R, riding responsibly. So no drifting, no snakies, no zigzags, no donuts, no wheelies, no nothing silly like that. But I'm sure we're going to be fine with you guys. So getting you comfortable on these bikes, want everyone sitting forward as far as they can comfortably. Alrighty, and you want to hug that fuel tank with your inner thighs. Just gives you the best control over these bikes. With our feet in those footwells at all stages today. For no silly reason, we want you sticking them out, okay? As you look down, you'll notice you've got a couple of pedals. The pedal on the right is an extra brake. We're not even going to be worried about using that one today, guys. We've got our brakes in front of us here. Alright, now the one on the left is for changing gears, but I'll get to that a little bit more in a sec. So with our hands, we want them as close to the centre on those handlebars as you can get them. So nice and close to the centre of the handlebars. Just gives us our best control over our accelerator. Alrighty, so our accelerator is this one. This little paddle down there on the right. You got that one there? That's our accelerator. We're going to be using our thumbs today, guys, and the thickest part of your thumb is what you want to be using. Just nice, slow, steady presses, just millimetre by millimetre. Alright, these bikes are really sensitive, especially in first gear. Okay, now our brakes, like I said before, in front of us. We're not going to worry about which one is front brake or back brake today. When we want to slow down and stop, we want our thumb off of that accelerator and squeeze both brakes in at the same time. Alrighty, just using equal pressure. So it might seem silly, but we'll just have a bit of a practice. Just get the hands just on the handlebars. So just on the handlebars, not on our brakes. So just on the handlebars. That's the way. Now onto our brakes, big squeeze in. Back on our handlebars, back on our brakes, back on our handlebars, and then back on our brakes. Beautiful. Now when we want to turn to the left, guys, I'm going to swing those handlebars all the way to the left. I'll get you to do that for me now, please. Alright, when you do so, you want to slightly lean forward and over this front left tyre, okay? That's it. And then we go to the right, we're just doing the opposite over that front right tyre. Perfect. Now if we go up any hills today, guys, which I'm sure we will, leaning forward, that's it. If we go down any hills, just slightly leaning back. Any questions on that so far? All good? Pretty straightforward. Alrighty, now turning these bikes on, we do have a key there. Get you to turn that from the on off to the on position, please. So just this key, give that a little turn. Alrighty, now has everyone got a little green light on that end? Alright, this means you're in neutral. Now these bikes are semi-automatic. They do have 5 gears, there is no clutch, impossible to stop. Means you can pull up in any gear, you can pull up in 3rd, you can pull up in 4th, 5th even. And take off in those same gears, but it's going to be really sluggish when you're doing that. So if you come to a complete stop, we suggest go back down to 2nd and then take off from there. Alrighty, now picture it like a ladder, neutral being at the bottom, all gears are up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up, 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 up. To go up a gear, we're going to place our foot underneath that pedal on the left. So underneath, and with our whole leg, we're going to lift up, lift it like you're trying to break it, that's it. Everyone hears the click. Everyone's light's gone out. Yep. Okay, this means you're in 1st gear. Alright, because you've gone up once. You're going to be going along nice and easy in 1st gear. Then your bike is going to start screaming at you and wants to go up a gear. Alright, simply take your thumb off of that accelerator and lift up again. And you'll be up into 2nd. Repeat this for 3rd and 4th. Should be no worries. Now to go down a gear, simply place your foot on top of that pedal and stomp her down. That's it. Everyone hears that click again.
Yeah.
Lights come back on. You've just changed gears up and down. It's as simple as that. Remembering taking our thumb off of the accelerator as you're changing gears. Alrighty? Any questions on that at all? All good?
Okay.
Alrighty, now to start them up. We're back on, lights on.
In neutral.
Yeah, in neutral. These bikes will not start unless that green light is on.
So just that.
No, that's it. You got a little black lightning bolt button down there on your left hand side, right down the bottom. Press that for 2 seconds for me. Just for 2 seconds. Everyone's up and running. Alrighty. Now above that lightning bolt, you do have a red switch. I'll get you to flick that left or right for me. So that is a kill switch.
Right.
Alrighty. If you find at any stage today you are riding along, then your bike just cuts out, or you're in neutral trying to start it and it will not start, 99% of the time you've accidentally flicked that switch. So we want to keep that in the center position for all stages today, just with those lines lined up. Alrighty. So if something's wrong with your bike, check that one first.
Is that like your emergency stop?
An emergency as well.
Okay.
So if you're coming off the track and you don't want to press your brakes or anything like that, you just quickly flick that and your bike will cut off. Alrighty. There is one more safety mechanism on this bike. Our little horns there. We're only going to use them in emergency situations. Say if your bike's not starting, can't get it to start, someone's gone off the track in front of you, you basically want to get my attention, press that horn, I'll presume something's wrong, and stop to it. Alrighty? Any questions on all of that? It's a lot to take in, but...
Where was the other side? Was it this one here?
That's the accelerator?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that. Where was the other horn? There's
No,
one there.
there's only one horn.
Oh, okay. Right.
That was over here.
Oh.
Alrighty. Alright, any more questions? All good? So first lap of practice lap, guys, we've got 3 flags out here. One at the start, one on that back straight, and one at the finish. So first lap will be in first gear only, just cruising along, nice and easy. We're just going to test our brakes out. Alright, when we come to each flag, we just want a big complete stop using both of our brakes. Once you do that stop, just continue on to the next flag, another big stop. Meet me back here and I'll give you more instructions for the second lap. Alrighty. Steady presses, guys. This lap, guys, so you don't have to hold your brakes, it won't take off on you. When we get to our first flag over here, alrighty, we're just going to go up into second gear and have a lap in second gear. Alright, so nice and easy, get to that flag, up into second gear, have a lap in second gear, you don't have to stop at the flags this time. Pull it all out, Frank.
Ready?
Yeah, go for it when you're ready.
first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll go second gear at that first flag, third gear at the back flag, bring it back here in third, and we should be fine.
Okay.
Alright.
Oh, sorry.
Bit too close. So press down. And again. Alrighty. So we go up. So easy. So up and first. Another lap. Bit of a free lap this time, guys. You just pick whatever gear you think you should be in. Alright.
Meters?
Easy. Yeah, 10 meters. Yeah.
Is there a way to, sorry. Is there a way to see which gear you're in?
Sorry?
Is there a way to see which gear you're in?
It's not going to tell you.
Okay.
So it's strictly by feel or sound.
Okay.
So when you're riding along,
If it's screaming, yeah.
if it's screaming at you,
Yeah.
you need to go up. Vice
Gotcha.
versa, if it's a really low tone and it's bogging down, you need to go down.
Okay.
But yeah, you don't need to look at the strings. It's not going to tell you anything other than your speed.
Okay.
Just one more lap just to get a good feel of it. keys. So down the neutral, turn it off with the key. This with the key, that's it. Perfect. How are we all feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Deep breath, relax.
I wish I'd worn harder shoes though.
Yeah.
I think it's sore toes.
We were just saying how nice and clean these ones are going to be after. Alrighty guys, so we might do you a bit of a favour, alrighty? We've got an extra guide here at the moment, so we might just split yous up into your couples and take yous off separately. Give you a free private upgrade basically.
Nice.
You'd be happy with that?
Sounds good.
Alrighty? No worries. So we're just going to go get our buggies, grab you some drinks. Here's a chance you can jump off the bikes, have a bit of a stretch if you like.
Put in first gear. Oh, sorry. Take your time, take your time.
Lee's stopped. On sunny days, a certain type of animal comes out. If you guys want to hop off and follow me over this way, I'm sure that that's what it is. So on the island, I'm pretty sure that's what he stopped. Well, how are we riding so far, you guys?
Doing well.
All good. What did you think of the rocks? So that rocky part, was it too much? Was it just enough? Do we want more?
All right.
Do we want less of that? If you let me know, because I've got heaps of different options that we can take to our next spot now. Give me the honest answer. You're happy with the rocks?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Well, this next section, it takes us out to the coast. We are going to have a bit more of a rocky part. On it, just remember to hold on nice and tight, especially with your legs. And remember that we're in no rush. So just ride within your comfort zone at all times, especially over the rocks, because they are going to be a bit more of a challenge, all right? While we're here, if you look off to your left-hand side, feel free, you can hop off and stretch your legs for a moment.
Yes.
These are those termite mounds that I was talking about earlier.
Oh, wow.
And they are all over the island. Like as we're riding through today, if you look in the bush, you're going to see them off to either sides of the trail. So these are the ones that those goannas lay their eggs in the middle of. Some of them are much smaller, so that we're talking like this big kind of. This is a bit of a larger one, and sometimes I've seen them up to about that size max down here. Other parts of Australia, they've got them the same height as myself. The ones down here are just a little bit smaller. They're really neat, and like I said, the termites are all over it, so you put a hole in the side, they patch it right up immediately. And the goannas have to be super careful how deep they dig, because if they dig more, like too deep, the termites will actually ditch the whole mound. They'll think that they're under attack, and they'll just leave it as is, and then she'll have eggs in there that don't get patched up around. So they have to be very specific with how deep they patch them. So they're really cool. You never know. Could be eggs in there right now. As we're riding along as well, you're gonna notice heaps of these trees. If you've seen them all over the place on the island, I presume. Do you know what they're called by chance? So they're exantherias or yucca trees, and they're really neat because what they'll do, these ones haven't been affected by fire, and I can tell because they're holding on to all of their dead branches on the bottom, and when the fire will come through, it'll burn all of those branches off, and it ensures that it's protecting the core. Later in the tour, we're going to be riding through areas that have been affected by the bushfire, and you're going to notice a really big difference in what these yucca trees look like. And they're very slow growing. They can only grow up to 1 centimeter per year. So later today we'll be riding by some that are 300, even 400 years old. And I'll stop and I'll show you those as we're riding through, but now you know what you're looking at. Even some of them will be really small. This is a different species, but like about this big. That one's, we're talking around 50, 60 years old. So they're super slow growing. They're one of my favorite Australian trees since I arrived. We'll talk more about why that is in a little bit. But until then, you guys ready to ride? Are you warm enough? Yeah. We've also got water bottles on board. If you guys do need some water or anything like that, please let me know and we can stop, pop the helmets off, give your head a bit of a break, and have some water. All right? So until then, like I said, it is going to get rocky. Well, let's give it a try. If it's too much, please let me know, all right? Here we go. You can start them up. Would you guys like photos taken on a phone or anything like that?
Yeah.
Here, Patrick, I can, if you want, Patrick, I can put it in my pocket, and throughout the tour I can pop it out and grab some photos of it.
7284. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I think I can. Is this an iPhone?
Yeah.
I can get there from the lock screen on there.
Good.
Oh, yeah. Alright. Now, one thing about today, I can't see your lovely smiles, so you gotta do poses for me. Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3. Go down, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. I'll pop that one in here, Patrick.
Sure.
And I can take some-
Turn the phone this way.
Yeah.
Like, there you go. There you go.
There we go. Oh, that's better. 1, 2, 3. You want it this way from now on? There?
Yeah, if you don't mind, yeah.
Can do. Alright.
Why am my key's not? I'm not going into neutral.
That's okay. Here, now try. Keep dropping. Keep going.
There you go.
Sometimes they just need to be moving.
Okay.
You're good to go now, I think.
Yep.
Alright. Here we go.
I thought I was stuck in the mud. I was in neutral.
Oh, okay.
So we're good now.
I've still got you, Patrick. I was just asking Catherine, what did you think of that last section?
That was about the limit.
Okay. All right, good. It's going to be, to get out to the coast from here, it's similar to this. You're going to be able to make it?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. I was just double checking before we
No,
keep
we're good. We're good. That's stuck.
Remember, Patrick, just ride within your limits
Yeah.
here, okay?
Yeah.
You're doing really well.
Hey.
It's both. Have you ridden before?
Nope.
I was saying to Catherine, I can't believe it because these rocks not everyone can do, and you guys are
We're enjoying it.
you're doing awesome. All right, here we go. right. Very, very well done.
Whew.
We're through the worst of it there, or the hardest part there through the rocks. This gives us a really good viewpoint. As you can see, there's a bit of a change in scenery from where we were last. Feel free to hop off, stretch out a little bit. This is where that fire came through 2 years ago. It started down in Flinders Chase. Have you guys been down that way yet? So that's where the fire started. It started with dry lightning, which just means really dry conditions. A couple strikes of lightning, and that caused it to, the perfect amount of wind, caused it to blow across the island. So all of this section here was affected by it. And you can see things are very quickly starting to bounce back. These are our coastal mallee trees here. And believe it or not, it's the same tree as this one. Basically what happens is the mother tree's sending signals down to its root ball. And when those signals stop, it focuses all of its energy on its root ball. So it could be from a bulldozer going over it. It could be from a fire burning through. And then it grows its way up again, often thicker than it was before.
We were hoping to stay at the wilderness retreat.
Oh, is that one's been burned out, isn't it?
That's the one, yeah.
How have you had the tour book or the
We had this we were supposed to do this 2 years ago.
Oh, so that would have been pretty well right on. 2020 was when the fire came through. And then I'm assuming it was COVID that was the reason that you guys had to
yeah.
Oh, good on you to finally make it over. Yeah. Well, the wilderness retreat down that way would look just like this. Totally burned out, and I know there's a big long waiting list to get things built. Like even to get a house built on the island at the moment, you're looking at 2-3-ish years. Not really. It's not about the money. It's more about, do you have a builder and do you have the materials? Because like there's a big long waiting list for people getting houses rebuilt. I'm assuming they're probably in the same situation there. Yeah. You can see things are starting to bounce back slowly. These ones are really cool as well. You cut the mother tree down, you can count the rings like you do on any other tree to see how old it is. The thing about these ones though, that's just the age of the tree from the last fire. The true age of these trees are actually in their base. You gotta dig them up to see how old they really are. They could have seen 4 or 5 fires by now. Yeah, you can see we've got the national park on our left. Private property that we've left on our right. And if you see that little inlet just over this way, you just barely see it now. That's our destination. So that's the coastline. That's Cape Saint, and in a little bit we're gonna make our way there. It's actually on Australia's top 100 surf beaches. The only thing is, you'll see the trail that we have to take to get in there. You got to be able to get a board in there. So I've never actually seen a surfer in there, but the waves are really nice. Which you'll see when we arrive. You guys want to get a photo over here? Take a photo out on the road here.
Sure. Huh?
Never mind. I was asking you to help, but you got it.
Alright, E.T. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One like this as well. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Alright. Now, we're going to head down this big long straightaway. I know it may look easy. It's pretty straightforward, either than at no point today do I want to see you guys coming out into the areas off the side. That's where the loose gravel and rocks are. If you end up in this zone, it's super easy to lose control. And you end off in the bush. I want to keep you right down the middle, because that's where your bike's going to have the easiest amount of steering. Off to the side, it's just dangerous if you get off into this loose stuff. All right? Until then, let's enjoy the ride, and we'll continue on. You guys have any questions for me so far, or anything like that? All right. Catherine, I've got the parking brakes on. Turn that one off. I'm just going to give it an extra squeeze.
Can you drop it down to gear after you turn it off?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we were at that termite mound, sometimes they have trouble dropping down a gear when they're off if they're not moving.
Okay.
So like the reason I walked over and I did this, that just was helping it change down.
Oh, give me push it real quick because I dropped it down again.
Oh, you're all good.
Perfect. All right.
Oh.
All right.
Are we? Yeah, we're good. Yeah, sometimes I just need a bit of a shake to bounce them back down to gear. I think, yeah, you guys both ready to go. Oops. You can turn them back on when you're ready.
good.
You're all good?
Yep.
All right. Continue on for about a 4-minute drive
Okay.
to the beach. Here we go.
Can't see where I'm going. they were steaming up. I couldn't see out of them at all.
I can give it a I'll clean them up for you.
Yeah, I can see now. Now they're good. I think.
Oh, good. Oh,
Yeah.
good. Pop off, Patrick.
Yeah, I think so. Yep. I think so.
And we're going to arrive at the coast. This is Cape Cassin, or as we call it, the edge of the earth. It's awesome riding. This is the only access point to get in here. So to get out to this beach, you've got to come down that road. And today we are going to be filming two routes in here. we have arrived back in that bushfire affected area. You are going to find these trails through here are going to be significantly smoother than what we've been riding on. We've just got these big sandy berms, so enjoy those. As we're riding through, you'll notice heaps of these have all been burned out, but you'll see heaps of the things starting to bounce back, rejuvenate. A lot of the native Australian plants do actually need fire. For example, this tree here. These are our Banksia trees. You would have seen them up towards Queensland as well. They're all over the place. These are their seed pods, or their flowers. And if you have a really close look at them, you can see how they're all open. See, these seed pods will remain closed until the fire comes through. Then they open up. That drops their seed out. And Banksia, this is one over here. They've got little serrated tips. This is them starting to bounce back. So this is a little one down here as well. This is a desert Banksia. You can see that's 2 years of growth, so they are quite slow growing. That mother tree is now effectively dead, and the little ones will start to pop up in no time. This is one of those yucca trees that I mentioned earlier. That big one, and remember how I said they hold on to their dead leaves? This one's had them all burned off, as you can see. And when the tree's really stressed out, what it will do is it'll shoot up one of these. This is its flower, and they grow up to 15 centimeters per day. So they shoot right up, and with everything burned away, they're really good for the birds and bees because they need something to live off of, and they live off of these flowers here.
So these shot up after the fire?
Well, when the tree's stressed out, and
right,
fire's a big stress for them, so yeah, they shoot
But the
up.
fire lasted what, a half hour or so? An hour?
In some sections less, because like things would have been smoldering away.
Okay, all right, true.
You can see all these trees here, how they're all bent over this
Yeah.
way. That's because the wind would have been blowing in that direction, and the fire came through, and it's literally just frozen them in their tracks. Like I said, in some sections the fire was moving like so fast that like literally you'd be standing here, it would burn right through. It wasn't even hot enough really to burn sometimes the leaves off the top of the trees. It was moving so fast it just burned the bottom section out. Which is why a lot of these plants, some of them did survive. These are really durable, and fire, they have no problem with fire. It's actually quite good for them. Yeah, you'll see heaps of things starting to bounce back. Another one is the buck bush, which is all of these orange ones that you'll see all over the place as we're riding through. You will only see these after a fire. So they last for roughly 2 to 3 years after the fire comes through. After those 2 to 3 years, that plant will just completely die off and drop its seeds. And the seeds will lay on the ground dormant until the next fire, which could be 10, 15.
So really, as much as the fire was an inconvenience to humans, it really was necessary.
It was really,
ecologically.
Yeah. So like this buckbush, when it popped up, a lot of the locals were saying, "What is this stuff? We've never seen it before." And that's because the seeds were in the ground, and fire came through, and all of a sudden it started popping up. And a lot of it, you'll notice it's stripped away. With everything else burned away, the kangaroos love this stuff, especially this one in here. You can see there's almost nothing left on this. The kangaroos will eat it all off, and with nothing else to eat, it's essential. Like the ecosystem needs it. So there's lots of negatives that come with fire. There's also lots of positives. For example, plants being able to spread their seeds. We had way too many koalas on the island before the fires, and that sort of helped bring their numbers down, as tragic as it is. The carrying capacity of the island for koalas is 16,000. Before the fires, we had close to 60,000. And they're super picky. So these are all eucalyptus trees. There's about 600 species of eucalyptus. Koalas eat 20 of those 600, and they prefer to eat 6 out of those 20. So they're super picky. So when they do find a tree they like, they strip it. And koalas aren't great on the trees, because what they'll do, they'll grab a branch off like this, and they'll go, "This is a good leaf. This is a good leaf. Yum," and then they'll toss the rest. And when you get 5 or 6 koalas on one tree, they very quickly become stripped and bare.
How many koalas are left now?
It's estimated 10 to 15.
So right around
We're right around the right number again. And before the fires, they're actually starting to cull them. So what they were doing is they were inserting chips into the females to try and make them sterilized. They were also trapping and trying to relocate them. The problem with the ones down here, though, is they've sort of acclimatized. So they've got thicker coats. They also became very friendly with other koalas, because since there were so many, they kind of had to. As they moved them to the mainland, it's a little warmer, so they found it uncomfortable. And the ones in the mainland don't have to share land with other koalas. So they were quite hostile to the ones that were here that were used to hanging out with other koalas. So the ones that were moved from the island really didn't make a very good go of it when they moved them to the mainland. They were really hoping they would, because the koalas we have on the island are actually chlamydia free, where the ones on the mainland, almost every single koala that you'll see there does have chlamydia, and it's hard on their numbers. But yeah, they're actually introduced to the island. This island started with 18 koalas, and well, from that 18, we had close to 60,000. So there's a lot of crossbreeding going on as well. Yeah, if we get lucky, I'm keeping my eyes out. Maybe we'll spot one. Well done. We're going to continue riding through. I think you guys are really going to like this section. You're asking for some smoother trails. These ones are going to offer you exactly that. Enjoy the ride. How are we doing? You guys enjoying yourself? Awesome. You guys want to get a photo while we're here?
Might as well.
Yeah. Alright, got the yakka tree in there as well. 1, 2, 3. Get one second flag. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Alrighty, you guys. Well, you can hop back on. We'll start them up there, Patrick, and continue on our way. We're riding really well.
Thank you.
See how fast we're going down there? Did you check your speedometer out at one point?
Huh? Oh, I was up to 48 once.
Yeah, I was going to say we were awfully close to 50 at one point. And you guys were keeping up to me no problem. I was looking in the rearview mirror going like, oh yeah, I got them both. Like, we're good to go. So well done.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go.
Ready? Start them up. You can hop off if you want. There's one right there.
Oh man. Wait, my phone. My
So
phone.
we've actually separated the group. We've got one here. There's two more over here.
I got so excited.
I almost actually hit one. There's one right beside you too with a joey. See him right there? So these are a subspecies of the western grey, and they've been separated from the mainland for so long that they are their own species. They're called the Kangaroo Island kangaroo. Big difference between the ones here and the ones on the mainland. They've got darker tips of their ears, darker arms, darker tails. That's just for the colder climates. It's joey season right now, so meaning if we can spot a mother, there's a good chance that she's got a joey in her pouch. The ones here actually can't pause their pregnancies versus the ones on the mainland can. So they can actually get pregnant. They've got a fertilized embryo, and if there's a drought or something, the mother can go, I don't want to have it yet, and she can pause that pregnancy for up to 11 months. Here on the island, we've got really good conditions. It's normally green year round. So they actually can't pause their pregnancies anymore. So when she's pregnant, it's coming no matter what. And you can see how close we come. On the mainland, there is no way we'd be able to be this close to them. They shoot off in opposite directions. The ones here, like I said, we've got Australia's slowest kangaroo because they don't really have in their genes to run because they've never been hunted. The farmers do occasionally, but compared to the ones on the mainland, they've been hunted for so many years.
Oh, there's two of them there.
Three over here, you guys, as well. So we've got one over here. One over here. One happens through there. There he goes. One over here. One straight through there. And then this one. There's a big one right there. See him looking at us? These two are fighting a little bit there. These are both little juveniles, I think. See these two playing away? Look at them. See them going at it? But they're like T-Rexes, but they're like tiny. You guys tried kangaroo while you've been here? I can hold those for you. That's a big one. So that's a male if I had to guess. The males are often bigger, they're a little more stocky, like you wouldn't want to mess with one, I don't think.
What's up?
You don't alert like that one the other day, remember I told you?
Yeah.
We're at full stop right before the roundabout there. Right beside Yeah, all good, man. You probably come up behind it. It's up on hill trail, like I said. Cool, right? There you go. Pretty cool, eh? Oh, now that's a shot. Look, oh man. He's staring you down there, Patrick. That's a big one. That's a proper big one. They don't get much bigger than that here on the island. On the mainland, they've got the big red, which is slightly different species than these ones here. And that's the one you'll see videos of, like with the, veins going through its muscles. They're called the big reds, and they're slightly different subspecies of these ones here. They're having a great day, these ones. This is the perfect spot to sight them as well, because it's a little more open since it's been burned through. When we're riding through the bush sections that haven't been burned out, they're almost impossible to spot, like you said, because all they have to do is do 2 hops and they're well into the bush. You guys have seen the kangaroos before, or?
Just off the side of the road.
Yeah, okay.
There was a spot up on between Penyshaw and Kingscote.
Yeah.
We saw one day. I didn't have my camera on me. I got my drone out.
Yeah.
But the next day we stopped my camera, but it was getting dark and I needed a tripod.
Yeah.
It was so windy. The camera was blowing more than, it's like I couldn't do anything.
That's a pretty good shot you just got on your phone there.
Yeah. I hate to say my phone does a good job, but
they do. They're getting better and better.
you know what? In an emergency.
Yeah. Yeah, we need something out and ready to go right away.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, shall we continue on, you guys? There's that one for you there, Patrick. Okay, there was one that was like hopping right here.
Oh, right in front of you. Okay.
I was like, oh, I need to like turn. You can see this tracks here, there, Patrick.
Huh.
Like it was right in front of me, and I was like, oh gosh, I hope.
And I got so excited when I saw them.
I was like, I hope Catherine can hit her brakes
I
fast
just forgot
enough.
to stop because I was so excited when I saw the kangaroo.
You would have seen how quickly these went red. So I was like, God, dude, we're in the middle of the trail. Like, we need to make a quick stop. No, that was good. I'm glad we were able to get him.
Okay.
Oh, continue on. Hopefully we can see more wildlife nice and close like that.
Mm-hmm. Let's ride.
Doesn't get much closer than that. Yeah,
No.
all right. We'll do it. So we'll continue on. What do you guys think of these sandy berms that we're riding through right now?
I like them.
All right, we're going to have heaps more of that coming up, all right? There's going to be a few rocks here and there, but nothing compared to what we've already been through today.
Okay.
Just more of these sandy berms.
I'm finding with the rocks, it's easier if you kind of hunch down and
Yeah.
grab on.
Yeah. The more you hold on, the better. Mind you, they're going to be significantly smaller than the ones we've been
Okay.
riding on before. I'll just ask you, pull them down there. We'll be good to go. Let's ride.